just said be more careful is all. I don't see how you could get confused.
They're right next to each other.
They're different colours.
They should make the hole a different size.
You called the RAC?
I did. Took 40 minutes. Not so bad. With a man with an accent who came.
What accent?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, are we talking Bristol? Scottish?
No, European.
Polish? Czech?
Well, I don't know the difference between those ones.
Was he good?
Oh, yeah, very good. So, this is where she wants to start.
Yep, now it's been cleared. She wants to get planted.
So what's she like, then?
You've met her.
Yeah, but you've spent more time. She's more about the garden than the house.
Well, she's formidable, attractive, for her age. Bone structure, good figure.
Yeah, all right, Matthew. Oh, I have seen her. I'm talking about her personality.
Well, she grew up here. Well, not grew up. Her uncle lived here when she was young, and she remembers visiting.
Her uncle. So that's why she bought it then. Oh, it's a big job, this garden. Been left to ruin under your watch.
Not my fault.
Not what it was.
It needs resources.
Proper shithole. Still, at least it went to someone who'll appreciate it.
Are you feeling all right, then?
You mind your own business.
Good.
Oh. Hello.
Oh, Matthew, this is Zara, Mrs. Walter's daughter. Now, this is Matthew, my husband. He does the garden.
Really?
Yep, 20 years now, on and off.
Just you?
That's right. And I know what you're thinking, but the previous owner didn't want so many hours putting in, is the truth. Couldn't afford it. But your mum says she wants to keep you on pretty much full time, so it's all changed. Big plans. Are you living here too, then? You come up from London?
Muswell Hill.
Oh, right. Didn't want to stay there?
Yeah. I mean, all my friends. Work. Opportunities are there. Had the next few years all planned out. And suddenly Mum sold the house and said we're moving to the country. I mean, I get it's something that's important to her, but for me, it's a disaster. Middle of nowhere.
Town's only 2 miles away.
2 miles?
It's not long in a car.
I can't drive.
Neither can she. Not properly.
Can you walk it?
2 miles, of course. If you've got the time.
I like the flowers. There's nothing much going on at the moment, is there? In the garden, except for weeds and grass, but by the house there's a clump of, like, white flowers.
Snowdrops.
Right.
Early this year, apparently there used to be swathes of them. Your mum said they were everywhere, but I think that's unlikely. Either way, she wants them back. That'll cost her, mind, if you can't wait for us to split them.
She's obsessed.
Nothing wrong with an hobby.
Oh, it's more than that. Never seen her like it.
Well, I must be getting on. So should you, woman. Guests today. Sure, you've got things to do.
Oh.
I'll see you soon, miss.
Bye.
What?
You all right?
I'm Gabriel from the house, the lady, the new owner. I used to do the windows here. I said I'm happy to keep. She said to come round and talk about it.
I'm her daughter, Zara.
Gabriel.
You said.
I live just over there. The house, you can see it, just about, just see the roof. Live with my mum. I clean windows for some extra money. It's not what I want to do eventually, but, you know.
Yeah.
You grew up in London. I always think you can tell if someone grew up in London. I mean, we're not that far away here. It's only an hour or whatever on the train, but it's so different. Someone grows up in London, it's like they have got an extra layer of skin. Harder somehow.
Harder.
Like, they've had to be that much tougher, because out here, it is easy.
I don't find it easy. How'd you get anywhere? I don't drive.
If you're going to live here, you better learn. I taught my mate, Chivers. He passed first time. What do you do, then?
I work in publishing.
Cool. What as?
Well, just done a placement in marketing. You know, it's not exactly what I want, but... Been offered another in the children's section in the summer. They're not sure how I can afford that now. Nowhere to live. I hope she's going to help me out. Mum, you know, pay for somewhere in London. She ought to.
I write, like, short stories.
Okay.
So, you're here for a while?
No, that was the rose garden.
Don't tell them I smoke.
Okay.
And down there was the long walk, which you can see in the photographs was framed with a magnificent structure they called Heaven's Gate. I just about remember it, the metal's frozen up now, but I remember the touch of them, along with my grandfather's pipe smoke. Crumpets on the terrace, the lily pond. It's overgrown, but still there, which is a huge bonus. It's going to take a while. Sort out those gates. Cost a fortune, but it must all be done. Hello, who's this?
Gabriel.
You asked about the window cleaning? I used to do it for the previous owners.
Oh, yes. Did we arrange?
I was passing.
Impromptu. Charming. What did you charge the previous?
£30.
How often?
Once a month.
I'd like it done every week and I'll pay 40. If you do it properly. The windows were a state when I arrived. I'm not just talking sloshing the water on. I mean get in there. Spark. Do you do Edwards? They look all right.
I do my own.
Oh.
Always have. But Gabriel is a hard worker. I assume he hasn't cleaned them for a while because Mrs. Gosford, the previous owner, she was in hospital.
That's right. She said there was no point touching them while she was away.
He'll work hard.
He'll take the £40, though, I'm sure.
Well...
That's a yes.
All right, then. Probation. Give him a clean, and we'll see.
Thank you.
Good. Now, are we having tea? Gabriel, excuse us.
Gabriel, we're having tea. Would you like to stop for tea?
Sarah?
Well, yes, please.
It's a little chilly.
Oh, Paul.
What?
Man up.
Man up. Right. Well, I could fetch a pullover.
I thought tea outside might be fun. Tea in the Red Garden. Although you'd have no idea why it was called that. Go on. Both of you guessed, do you know?
I assume red
No,
flowers.
there are red flowers, but that's not why.
How the light falls?
Guess again.
Oh, for Christ's sakes. Just tell us.
Maybe I'll tell you later. Keep you interested. Your voice is very unattractive when you snap like that. Sorry. The point is, each room had a theme. An exploration. Now, no English garden had investigated things like that. It was either landscape or cottage. Albion was the first to fuse those two approaches, the chaos of nature in a formal setting. It's of vital historical importance, and just look at it. The quintessential English country garden, this was the first. Lawrence Weatherbury's masterpiece is referred to in all the guides of the time as being absolutely radical and absolutely beautiful. Just look at it. You never know.
My wife is on a mission.
Good. It's important to have purpose.
Well, that's what they say, but I've never found it to be the case. My life has had no purpose, and I've been unbelievably happy. To have a goal simply leaves one open to failure and disappointment. To drift means one can only ever be constantly surprised.
It's because you're Spanish.
I'm not Spanish.
Spanish blood on his mother's side.
I'm as English as you.
Catholic. It's fate. It's not English Protestant morality based on hard work. That's the key distinction. Paul, you can be happy without purpose, but for the true Englishman or woman, that is tantamount to a sin.
Piffle.
Is Catherine here yet?
I can't believe you've never met her.
Well, I know a lot about her.
Well, from me, I suppose. She's been abroad a lot recently. She's a novelist.
Mum,
Oh, what is the matter?
I told you. I know who she is. I read her work at uni.
Did you?
Everyone knows who she is. She's famous.
Is she? No. She never said.
Well, you wouldn't, would you?
I would if I was famous. I'd make it clear, otherwise my friends could look foolish.
Catherine who?
Catherine Sanchez.
Catherine Sanchez!
Don't tell me you've heard of her too.
Mum, everyone has heard of her.
Yes, but he cleans the window.
I write as well.
Oh, he writes as well. Of course he does. What a cultured corner of the country this is. Anna, all right.
Yes, fine, thank you. Sorry that took a while. Couldn't find the milk.
But eventually you discovered it. Well done.
It was in the other fridge.
Yes,
You have 2 fridges.
yes. That all right with you?
Whatever you need.
Good. Well, thank you anyway for getting the tea. Down here, please. Wonderful. Let me be mother, seeing as I am.
Which one's this?
The red garden. I was just saying.
And how many are there?
Oh, at last. Someone's interested. Originally, 31 separate rooms. Compartments, as Weatherbury called them. This garden can never be appreciated in one view. It had to be experienced as a journey.
Who's Weatherby?
Weatherbury, the visionary, remarkable man who created this garden out of nothing in the hot summer of 1923.
She's been reading a book.
Books, plural, actually, and papers, letters. Even as a child, I knew there was something about this place. And when I heard it had been left a rack and ruin,
So what are you going to do with it?
restore it
All of it?
in time.
Why?
What? Well, it's important.
To who?
To everyone. To all of us. We'll start here with the Red Garden and work out. The Red and Pool Gardens are this year's projects.
Do you remember it, Edward?
I remember it being talked about, but I never visited the garden while it was still being preserved well. That's the irony, actually. Mrs. Walters, your uncle kept this place meticulously, having bought it directly from Weatherbury himself during his latter years. Keeping it thus, he insisted on privacy. Thought too many visitors would trammel and trample the work. When he sold it on, the new owner, Cartwright, didn't have the same means, so turfed a lot of it. But that meant the village fete could be held here. Parties, weddings. There is quite an expectation, Mrs. Walters, as you're no doubt aware. This garden has developed into an important amenity for the village.
Yes, I've heard about that.
There's one event every summer where people volunteer to dress up as characters from books, and the local children have to find them in the nooks and crannies of the garden. It's beautiful.
I did that last year.
Who are you?
The Cat in the Hat.
Well, it may not be compatible with my plans. There's delicate work to be done here, and certainly while we're doing that work, the village may have to find another venue.
Surely just a few days a year.
It's my garden, Edward.
Our God.
Our garden, my husband and me. We have to feel we own it.
I'm sure no one would
No,
intrude.
it's not about a lack of generosity and community. We'll play our part in some other way. I'm sure this is a larger project. Now, this is something of national importance. To restore this vital part of our heritage. Now, who's for tea? Sarah?
Have you got sugar?
Of course.
Or you cut it out for ages?
Yes, we're over that now.
2, please.
How are you not obese? It's certainly not exercise, is it? Lounging around. I should put you to work. Do half a day's digging. Make a woman out of you. Get some germs in your system, some earth. She lived in the city all her life. Never got her hands dirty.
And you have.
I was brought up in the country.
Reading.
Outskirts?
Mum, you've been in a boardroom your entire adult life.
Yes, but all that time I knew what a garden was. It might have just been that patch of concrete and pots on our terrace, but I've been gardening all my life in one way. What is the matter with you?
Little bored, I suppose.
Bored? It's like having a 15-year-old again. You need things to be happening all the time, don't you? It's all those screens. You've got no concentration. I've told you already. Invite a friend or something. Meet a boy. I don't know. You do have friends, I assume?
Not out here.
Well, make some. Lots of young people in the village.
Young people.
And there's Anna. She's not young, but she's here.
This is a terrible risk for us. Had to give up our London house to afford it, and you know what they say, once you leave London, you'll never get back in.
I'm going back.
Once you get off the London ladder, so this was a big mistake. In that sense, everyone said it, especially as things are. But as with so many things, there was no persuading her. Not that I tried particularly, like trying to stop the weather.
Where's James?
I'm sorry.
He wasn't on the side, where he was in your old house, in the, what do you call it, living room?
Drawing room.
Oh, this is all new, by the way. Drawing room rather than living room. Terrace rather than patio.
This is how I was brought up before I was corrupted by my first husband, my son, my daughter, and now by you. Anna, we've still got a lot boxed up in that room, particularly the most valuable items, so we're moving things around. We didn't want anything broken.
Can you find him?
Yes, of course.
Before I go?
Yes, we'll find him later.
When's Catherine getting here?
Any minute. I think it's all right. Cheryl can open the door. We don't stand on ceremony. Wait around for her. She'll make herself at home. Always has before.
How are you finding Cheryl?
Who's Cheryl?
Oh, Paul.
What?
The cleaner.
Right, yes, Cheryl. So many new people. Well, she's nice, don't you think?
Yeah, she's fine.
She does how many days?
3 days a week.
Right.
Why'd you ask?
Only she used to do mine, said she needed 2 days. But then I was recommended this new girl, Christina. She came in, did a better job in half the time. Whirling dervish, runs around, does it all. The problem with Cheryl is she is, well, rather slow.
She's worked here a long time.
Well, yes, of course. And with Matthew, too. I just thought I'd mention it. As Christina's round at mine at the moment, I could send her across.
Cheryl always wants cash. The last couple of weeks I've asked if I can transfer the money. She was adamant it had to be notes. So she cleans me out if I have it, or I have to drive to get it. Not a huge thing, but, you know...
Christina's all above board. Her own business. She employs other people, very enterprising.
Ask her to come over and see us once she's finished at yours, but obviously tell her not to say why she's here. Right! Who'd like to hear the grand plan? Edward, yes?
Absolutely.
Paul, you've heard it before, but it won't do any harm to have it repeat.
No, I'll just think about other things.
Sarah? Oh, come on, I know you're interested.
I'm staying out here.
Gabriel.
I did.
Zara will show you out. I look forward to the windows.
I came in through the gate at the bottom, so...
Oh,
Oh, my house is down the croft. Is it all right if I go out that way?
you let yourself in?
I used to with the previous, but whatever you like.
Mum, come on. Let him use the gate. It's a long way round otherwise.
Well, all right. But let me know when you're coming.
Absolutely.
For the windows. Just so it doesn't become a thoroughfare. Anna?
No, thanks.
Just the ancients, then? This way? Perhaps we'll find Matthew as we go.
What did you mean? James? You said you couldn't find James. What? What's James?
James died 2 years ago.
My partner? Her brother.
Oh, I'm sorry. How?
He was a captain in the army. Killed by a roadside bomb.
God, so you were talking about
His ashes. James never left any instructions with what to do with them. Mum's been keeping them while we all make a plan.
For 2 years? I should leave.
It's good to meet you.
You too. What? Yeah. Excuse me, but Catherine Sanchez, she is one of my favourite writers. If I brought back a book, do you think you could ask her to sign it?
Yeah, of course. Drop it round.
Okay, I'll go home and get it now. Thanks.
It's impressive. Visiting us all the way out here.
James only gave me a few bits and pieces when we were together, but most of his possessions, his childhood things, you know, textbooks from school, his teenage stuff. She saved it all, hoarded it. It's all here. And she's keeping hold of it, so the only way I get to spend time with him is being in her house.
Even though you can't stand her?
James said there was something underneath. To give her a chance, that one day I'd see through the facade and realise what she really was, and that I'd like that.
You could be waiting a long time. I liked your idea of the journey of his life. Little bit in every place that meant something to him.
She won't have it. Says that would split him up.
Well, he's already split up, though, isn't he? Thousands of pieces. Let's keep trying.
Yes, thanks. Thank you.
It's a different world out here. Even the birds fly faster in London. I thought it might be like being on holiday all the time. That I'd settle, start writing, like I'd always intended. But no. With more time to think, I think less.
I don't mind it so far, actually. Welcome break from work. Like the view.
Met anyone?
No.
You were going to try a dating thing? App?
Well, I'd have to learn how they work.
I know. I've reverted to the standard. Drunk, parties, back to mine. Either way, it's dull, really. Truth is, I'm not sure what I'm after.
Oh, you're so young.
You too?
No.
Hello. I was told you're all out here. I'm Catherine. I assume one of you must be Zara. From the photographs, I'm going to say you.
Yes. Really pleased to meet you.
Wonderful to meet you. A little like your mother when she was young, only prettier, or thinner, or should I say slimmer? I'm not saying that's a bad thing, it's clearly the fashion. Attractive, anyway. Hello.
This is Anna, James's partner.
Oh, yes, of course. Awful. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
You both responded to the invitation, did you?
I did. Zara moved with her mum.
Not staying in London. Surely you'd rather be there at your age.
Thought I might like it here instead.
But you don't. So this is it, the famous garden. Yes, I've seen better. Just come back from South Africa, and I found myself just walking through the hills, searching for something. God knows if I found it. But you have to keep looking, don't you? Only way you'll progress.
Do you want a drink?
Yes, please, if you're offering gin and tonic. Is that on the cards? This looks like tea, but I'd prefer a spiky one if it's possible.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yes. South Africa. Can't remember what I was saying. What was I saying?
You have to keep looking.
Well remembered.
Can I confess something?
So soon?
I'm a huge fan. I mean, you're the reason I'm still here. A friend offered me to stay with them for a few weeks, but Mum said you were visiting and we always miss each other, and I thought this time, no, I want to meet you.
Really?
I've just done a placement in publishing. I just adore books. Words, you know? I mean, ever since I was young. And your work, in particular, it speaks to me. I mean, what your characters, these central characters, go through as women. I mean, there's no better articulation of the female experience.
You think so?
I wrote a number of essays at university on your early novels.
Darling, where did you go?
Trinity, Cambridge.
You know, I've never really intended my protagonists to be women. It just happens like that.
Really?
I write the person, and they're a woman. But they could equally one day be a man, I'm sure. It's the story that drives me. The narrative.
Your life must be incredible.
Well,
Sorry, but I'm so jealous. You don't take commissions, advances, do you?
that's right.
So you can stay completely independent. You just live and write. And when you're ready, you release your book and it makes enough for you to live and travel. Do it all over again. And that's always been the case for you.
Yeah, since I was 25, 26 maybe.
You must have such adventures. In your interviews, you talk about your life, what you've done and how that feeds in. I'd like to write.
Adventures? I must be honest with you, Zara. I pretend. After I've written, I make up stories to justify my choices. Because people do like to think that fiction comes from personal experience, but I'm actually very shy. My life has been lived watching other people living, really. Always feeling on the outskirts of life, never at the heart. I was never pretty enough to land the boy or the girl. Always left the party too early, always in the wrong room, missed the big event. I think that's what drives my work, really, not a life of adventure, but a life of imagining what I missed. You wouldn't understand. You're far too pretty. Life will come to you. I'm sure it already has. Life will give you opportunity, especially because of your mother, but you're clever and very attractive. The truth is, you'll struggle to be a writer.
I know. I don't think I ever could be. Not after I read your work. I thought, give up.
No, I'm flattered, but that's not the reason. You'll never be a writer because you don't need to be. You are accepted, loved. Unlike me, your life will be by default full. Just look at you.
I don't know. I'll get well-paid work. An editor, an agent, something like that. I'm sure I could. But I'm worried. I went from St. Mary's to Trinity to work placements with skiing and beaches in between. And I'm starting to think, oh God, this is a champagne problem, I know. As I've been sat here in this garden, that maybe I'm in a bubble. Maybe I haven't met real people. Maybe I've been cut off from the world my entire life. I'm after a dream, a sense of purpose, I suppose.
Then what do you believe in? You can't have purpose without belief. Does your mother know you smoke?
Shit. No. Please don't tell her. I don't know why I do it. All my friends are stopping or never started. It's a dirty habit.
Maybe that's what you're craving. A little imperfection.
You're actually here.
I am! How are you?
I'm thriving. Flooming. So's Paul.
Nonsense. I'm exactly the same, but outdoors. Hello.
He's got more vitamin D in the past 2 weeks than his whole life. He's out walking all the time.
Nothing else to do.
No. That's not true. He's joined a curry club. The men in the village, they go out for curry. For Paul, that's huge. You were never the social butterfly in London.
Well, I like curry.
I think it's marvellous. What a decision!
A deficient house and a pretty rough patch of earth, however, it's a start. And that is something you taught me, Catherine. Follow your dreams. It's a wonderful motto.
Taught by rote, I fear, rather than example. I was just saying, my dreams are fantasies, my life a shadow.
You two have spoken then. Yes, I thought you'd get on, his tendency to melancholy. She tells me you're famous.
Among a certain kind of Cambridge graduate, maybe.
No, there was a boy here. He also knew who you were, and I had no idea. You speak at events. You go on Radio 4, that kind of thing.
Sometimes.
How come I've never heard of you?
Well, you've been busy, I'm sure. We live in different worlds, Ord.
Where's the neighbour?
Gone home. Thought we just want family now.
Then I should go too.
Oh, Catherine. You are family. Do you have a drink?
I ordered a G&T.
Anna went, we're definitely staying out here.
Yes. It's better than the house. Paul, get some chairs out, darling. Tell Anna to make a gin and tonics all round.
Right. Right.
We're celebrating.
Celebrating what?
Dreams?
Precisely. Weatherbury said this was a house to dream of and a garden to dream in.
Excuse me, but there's a lady at the door called Christina. Apparently you have a mutual friend and you said for her to drop by.
Oh, yes. Oh. Actually, could you send her out here?
Right.
Thank you. Gosh. Orcs? It's a possible new cleaner. Now I've got to interview the replacement under the nose of the current.
Oh, Aud, you really are living out your fantasy, aren't you? A landowner with difficult staff. You'll be getting the croquet out next.
She's bought a set.
No.
Right, what is wrong with that?
Nothing. I think it's delightful. Never seen you like this. You're right. You are blooming. You would have been happy with staff.
My uncle had staff when he was here. I remember being fascinated when we came to visit. Where did they all go? No, all that, long gone. Although I do find myself thinking, what exactly is wrong with it? As long as they're well paid, are happy in their jobs, they would have more security than a courier or one of those Uber drivers. Part of me doesn't understand why it's politically incorrect.
Well, I suppose the objection is it's in your home. It's helping you with things that most people have no trouble doing themselves.
Well, that is simply not true. People have enormous trouble keeping their houses clean, looking after their children while working.
You can justify almost anything with practicality.
Hi. Christina.
Hello.
Audrey Waters. This is my daughter, Sarah. My friend, Catherine. Thank you for being discreet. You'll understand why. I thought Cheryl would have gone before you came over.
You don't want to upset her.
How astute of you.
Where are you from, Christina?
Poland originally. I've been here 3 years now. I'm with my boyfriend.
And what does he do?
He's getting things ready. We're starting a business together.
Really? Here?
No, I don't think so.
Gin and tonic on its way. Hello?
This is Christina.
Hello.
I'm the husband. You know Cheryl's still...
Yep, it's fine. A house of this size? How long would you think it would take?
How many bedrooms?
7 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms.
4.
Really?
Oh, yes. 4 bathrooms. Tried them all. As I said, there really is nothing to do.
Maybe a full day, I would say, to clean it all.
Just a day?
I would get my friend in to help. So the two of us would do it in 5 hours. So we'll charge you 10 hours at £12 an hour, something like that.
Do you have availability?
Yes, I could do Thursday at the moment.
Yeah, all right. Can I get your number?
I have a card.
A card? How organised.
It's my business.
Of course.
I know who you are, by the way.
You do?
My boyfriend, he got me a present from one of your shops, a tablecloth.
Oh, good!
We like it. It's white.
Oh, no, of course, it's all white. Everything in her shop is white. That's her thing.
Catherine.
Even the customers.
Oh, please. Your boyfriend has good taste.
Well, we like it. And I like that you made the business yourself.
Do you? Good.
Are we to hear from you?
Yeah, it won't be long.
Thank you.
Clever young woman. Oh, Cheryl's been here 20 years, is the problem. And her husband knows the garden well. I can't afford to lose him.
Oh, the troubles you
Oh,
have.
I know. Look, this is my life, and the truth is, believe it or not, both of you, for I see the skepticism on your collective face, the truth is, I don't actually like to upset people.
You may have to adjust your plans for the climate.
You mean now we've
I mean the planting. When Weatherbury chose his plants, it was 100 years ago. The climate would be quite different now. Sun like this in early February, unheard of back then. We're becoming the south of France.
Oh, I hope so. Means we won't have to actually go there anymore. No offense. I know the cheese and landscape and whatever, but my God, the people. So rude. It's got nothing to do with the language. My French is excellent, but all that means is I can appreciate their rudeness with even more subtlety. Weatherbury had a house in Menton on the Riviera, but it was his mother who used it. He stayed here, and I know precisely why. It might have been hotter there, more serene, but this place has the romance. The moods, like ourselves. It's England, really, isn't it? A climate without cloud and rain isn't honest.
You love it here.
Oh, I do. As a child, there were a number of big houses in the area, and when we'd visit, the adults would dress up in the evenings, and us children would listen at the top of the stairs. It was the 70s, but it felt timeless. You know, the music playing. Clatter of cutlery. And then afterwards, they would retreat to their private conversations in halls, in drawing rooms, or out on summer nights, down through the private rooms of the garden to the bathing pond. Or the infinity wall. And I thought, when I grow up, this will be the world I inherit. And then it was the 80s. And it was all destroyed. It is easy to mock, but there was a culture there. Most other countries preserve their past. The embarrassed and insecure English discard it. And then complain when the replacement isn't any good. What?
How are you?
I'm fine.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
I don't know how you coped. All of you.
Well, when something like that happens, you just carry on. You rely on each other, family, friends. We always knew it was possible. And his passing on. Sorry. His passing on, at least it meant something. He died for a purpose. In service to his country. I hold on to that. That keeps me steady.
And Anna's his
partner at the time.
And she's visiting.
Yeah, she sees us quite a bit. She's nice. She's a little... What's the word? Vulnerable?
Here we are. Thank you, Cheryl.
You've mixed it in already.
I have, as usual.
What if people wanted different strengths?
Oh, is everyone happy to trust me on strength?
Yes?
Absolutely.
Turns out we're fine. Thank you, Cheryl. That's perfect.
Right, that's me done for the day. Back tomorrow. You all right to pay tomorrow? Cash, if possible.
I'll get it first thing.
Appreciate it.
Well, we're in a bit of a spot, I'd say. She went for a scan on Friday after they found a lump. She's got an appointment on Thursday to discuss it.
Cancer.
Maybe.
Jesus.
I know.
Why did you tell me? I could have called her tonight, let her go, pretend I don't know. I can't fire her the week she's got cancer.
She might have cancer.
Why do you need to fire her anyway?
Because I'm paying someone to potter aimlessly around my house for 3 days, not particularly cleaning, when it could all be done in one. It offends my business instinct.
Lord, she's got cancer.
Probably.
Possibly.
Right, this has got ridiculous.
Try not to worry about it. Here.
Where's Anna?
I don't know.
I can't get everyone in the same place. It's a special day. I wanted to say a few words.
Shall I go and get her?
No, she'll work it out, I'm sure. Gabriel, you're not doing the windows now.
He
Sorry.
wanted to get his book signed by Catherine. I told him to go and get it, bring it back.
Oh, she's here for a week. Can't he?
Mum, it's fine.
Gabriel, come on. Come meet her. Do you want a drink?
Zara.
Well, only if it...
Of course you do. This is Catherine.
Hello.
I am a huge fan.
Oh, for crying out loud!
Thank you, Gabriel. What a lovely name.
Do you get this a lot?
Would it be all right to...
Of course.
How do you cope with it?
Well, it's a privilege, Audrey, that people read your work and like it. I assume it's the same when you meet people who like shopping in your shop.
Not particularly. They don't revere me.
Well, not true. That girl, Christina, she knew who you were. She was impressed.
Yes, but you didn't see her blushing, not like this. Look at him! A tomato!
Stop being mean.
Why, have you got an interest you'd like to declare?
Ignore her.
Thank you.
You like this one?
Yes, it's my favourite.
I've just finished a new one.
Really?
Yes.
Will you tell me about it?
Yes, of course.
Maybe not now.
Later, I promise.
Thank you.
This is a big undertaking, Audrey.
Huh?
Are you sure you're up to it yourself? What about your work?
Oh, I'm still part of it. I've just stepped back from a few more time-consuming things.
If you need any help...
I'm sorry?
So, I've got this year. I want to go to uni, and I need to earn money. If you need any help with the garden.
Well, speak to Matthew.
All right.
Anna, sweetheart, here. Have a gin and tonic. Now, before anybody else disappears or appears, I'd like to say a few words to start this project on this day. The very day
I
that
asked Cheryl about the drawing room. She said the urn was in there on the side, that she'd remember something like that. But today it's gone.
Gone?
Where is he? Why did you lie?
Anna, look, there's no conspiracy, right? Look, I've removed it up to my room. I felt he was a bit exposed down there, especially with everyone
I
around.
searched your room.
You've searched my room?
After you lied. I needed to know where he was, and I found the urn, but his ashes aren't in there anymore. Where is he?
I'd appreciate it if you didn't speak to me like this.
I'm asking a simple
Your
question.
voice raised, your face is hot.
You're
and I
hiding
don't
something.
feel there's some great mystery.
Where is he?
Anna.
Don't lie.
Mum.
All right. All right. I hope we wouldn't have to have this conversation so publicly, but the truth is, this toing and froing about how we are going to scatter them has caused me a lot of stress, a lot of sleepless nights, I have to say. I haven't been sleeping, have I?
What?
I've been awake in the night, worrying.
Oh, well, yes, you have.
Yes, so to cut a long story short, yesterday evening I was here in the garden. I'd had a couple of glasses of wine over dinner, and I was making plans, and I got quite sad. I'd read about the fact that this garden was a tribute from Weatherbury to all his fallen colleagues and friends who never made it home from the First World War, who made the ultimate sacrifice. Weatherbury was a captain in the army, as well you know, the same as James.
What have you done?
I'm telling you, Weatherbury was shot at Ypres, put on the pile of the dead, and it was only because a passing private happened to see his body move that he was pulled out and brought back to life. And that is why it's called the Red Garden, because it's about blood. It's what he saw on the battlefield. This garden was a tribute to all of those soldiers who were devoted to their country but weren't so lucky to come back to it. And James is one of those soldiers. No. So I came and scattered him here last night. As the plants grow, as this garden blooms every year, we can remember him.
But I should have... He was going to be my husband.
With respect, you don't know that? There was no...
He's Zara's brother.
Well, Zara doesn't mind. Do you?
You should have spoken to us, Mum.
Right, well, I didn't, and it's done. At least either way, our problem is resolved. I'm sorry if you don't like my solution, but he is my son, ultimately. I gave birth to him. He had me at the beginning. He has me at the end. And you're welcome to visit whenever you want to come here.
Whenever I want.
Of course.
Look,
Sorry?
the sun. It's gone.
Softly in the evening dusk, a woman is singing to me. She takes me back down the vista of my years until I see a child underneath the piano and the boom of the tinkling strings, pressing the poised feet of his mother, who smiles at him as she sings cuckoo-coo. Cuckoo-coo. Softly now in the evening dusk, a woman is singing to me, and she takes me back down the vista of my years until I see a boy, a child, underneath the piano and the boom of the tinkling strings, pressing the poised feet of his mother, who smiles at him as she sings, yearning to belong, yearning to belong. My heart beats with a ceaseless longing, lover, yearning to belong. In spite of myself and all of these nursery songs, my heart beats with the ceaseless longing, lover, yearning to belong. To the melodies of childish days are upon me, and they take me back down the river. They keep leading me on. They lead me until I see that all of my manhood is cast down in the flood of remembrance, and I weep like a child for the past. Sing cuckoo-coo, cuckoo-coo, sing cuckoo-coo, sing cuckoo-coo.
Another?
Thank you. Will you?
I'm working.
I'm sure Mrs. Walters won't mind.
Actually, she said I could have one if I like.
Right then. Oh, it has been such a success. She must be pleased with everything you've done.
I hope so.
You like it here?
This area?
Britain.
Oh, it's okay.
You feel welcome.
Yes. I will never be British, but there's been work for good money. That's all that matters.
But with everything that's happened,
That's your problem. Not mine. What are you writing?
nothing.
Not nothing.
Just notes for a story.
A love story?
What?
You've been looking at Zara all night?
No, I haven't.
Should try to make it less obvious.
She looks older now, don't you think?
She's your type.
Well, she loves writing and literature, and she's beautiful, so yes. But I don't know how to approach her. She's quite formidable.
I don't understand. You should just speak to her.
And say what?
Tell her a story.
How old are you?
23?
23? You're already 4 years older than me. And you've got your own business, contacts. You are making a lot of money. I've seen your car.
I share it with my friend.
Even so.
I work hard. I make money, yes, there's nothing wrong with that, is there? I should get back.
Gabriel!
Hi. Hello.
Oh, Gabriel.
That's right.
You on?
Yes.
You don't have to.
No, yes, please.
You've started.
That parties.
Murderer!
Yeah.
You did well.
I was unbelievably nervous. I don't keep secrets very well, and everywhere. There are some very powerful people in there.
Powerful but boring. You should think more of yourself.
You look amazing.
Well, did my best to get in the spirit of it. This has grown.
Yes, takes a lot of work.
You're a gardener now.
Helping Matthew. He's had to take time out for his wife, so there's lots to do.
How is she?
Responding well, apparently. Things are hard for them. Financially, there's no real pensions, and all of the travelling to appointments. We try to help when we can.
We?
Neighbours in the village. How have you been?
Did the placement. Been living with a friend in Herne Hill. He lets me camp in her spare room rent-free. Says I can stay as long as I like.
You met anyone?
What, you mean? Well, the odd evening, but no. You're going to university.
In September.
Where?
Probably Brooks in Oxford. I can get the bus.
Studying what?
Creative writing. There's a good course, and agents come at the end, read over your stuff. I think it'll be good. What?
I know. I'm just not sure those courses are really worth very much. I mean, if you're going to get into all that debt, wouldn't you do better to take a degree which will be respected, whatever you end up doing? For instance, English literature is the basis for all sorts of further education, careers, whatever. But creative writing, it's more or less useless. You don't actually end up being a writer, which, let's face it, most people don't.
You think I should do English?
You got good A-levels?
A and 2 Bs?
Right, you could get into English somewhere easily.
Brooks is really the only option.
Oxford proper.
I would have to retake.
Do that then.
It's too late for this year now. I don't want to have another year out.
Fine. Then do English at Brooks.
But it's the agents. It is hard to get them to read anything.
You just need to get it in front of them.
Exactly.
Well, I could do that. I mean, I see them at my placements, meet them at events.
Really?
Yeah, of course. Send me something.
You? Okay. I was writing a story just now, actually,
Really?
about a woman with this amazing hair. She didn't appreciate the effect she had on people.
Tell me.
It put them in her power. She didn't realize that everyone around her was in awe of her, and then, when she got her hair cut, it all went away.
How sad?
It grows back, so she's fine.
Oh, no. What? But the only thing that interested people in her was her hair? Not her conversation? Her intelligence?
I think that is what I'm trying to get at. Nobody saw who she was underneath.
And was she someone underneath?
Yes. I think so.
Some people aren't. Some people, you lift the lid, get behind the mask, and there's nothing there. Think I might be like that.
No.
How would you know?
I'm sure. You haven't got a drink. I will get you one. I was wondering.
Yes?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Gabriel, you smoking?
What? No.
I'm not your teacher. You can do what you want.
No,
Evening.
Hello?
excuse me.
Matthew was just telling me about all the things they've found. Jewellery, an old wooden box, toys.
Suppose there've been family after family here.
Yes, it's had a long history.
But you're happy so far with how it's going?
Well, it's a lot of work, but that's good, because Cheryl and I, we need the money. And Gabriel works hard. Knew nothing about gardens, but he's a fast learner.
Sweet boy.
Dreamer.
Nothing wrong with that.
Gardening is looking down at the ground, not up at the sky.
Maybe he wants more from his life?
More what? More time? More money? Things aren't so bad for him.
How's Cheryl?
Strong. Which is a blessing. I keep the bread on the table. Yes, it's a lot of work in the garden, but we need the hours. You ladies are both all right for a drink?
Well, I am.
Yes.
Right, well, you wanted me to show you where she was, done me duty, so I'll leave you to catch up.
Last time we were here together, your mother had done that awful thing.
I don't mind now, actually. When I visit, I come here, and I think it was quite a good idea. Returned him to dust. It's all our fate eventually.
And what about Anna?
Mum says she comes every weekend. Doesn't do much, just sits here.
Is she all right?
James and her only knew each other a few months. I think we're all surprised she's taken it so hard.
Well, that's not how love works. Length of time. If she feels he was who she was supposed to be with, that's that.
I wouldn't know.
Never been in love.
Not with a person.
What then?
I think I was in love with a picture of Beyonce when I was 15. I mean, I had it framed. It's quite weird, actually. Mum never said anything. Maybe she didn't notice. What about you?
Yes, a few times. But they never returned the favor. I chased. It fizzled. Perhaps I was scared. I didn't try hard enough.
I find that surprising. That it's never worked for you.
Why?
Well, you're very attractive. And your work is so. My friend has this theory. There are writers who, when you read their work, see it on stage, whatever, without knowing anything about them or what they look like, they are writers you feel you know you want to sleep with. That you might fall in love with. They're seductive and sexy. Iris Murdoch, Emily Bronte, Pinter. Then there are writers who are brilliant, devastating, funny, whose work you love, but you'd probably not want to get physical with. Dickens, Jane Austen, Orwell. You know what I mean?
I know which category I fall into.
No. I don't think you do.
I'm in a very unusual position.
What's that?
I've got to be careful about my friend.
What friend?
Your mother.
And why is that unusual?
Because normally she forgives my mistakes. She's helped me when I've got into scrapes, always put a roof over my head when I've needed it, always put me first.
I didn't think Mum put anyone first but herself.
Oh, she does, just very quietly. She's hardly ever done anything for herself. This garden might be the first time.
But her business.
She started that when your father died, to provide for you and James. It's all about you and James to her.
Well, she never hugs me. Barely touches me.
Yes, that's manner, not meaning.
So why have you got to be careful?
Because you are her daughter.
And why have you got to be careful?
Can you just go and stand over there where you were standing before, please?
Why?
You're standing very close to me.
Not standing particularly close to you.
Close enough.
For what?
Your eyes are bright. No dust and weather. Grown enough to know who you are, what you're doing. Young enough not to have fully seen the horror of the world.
What do you mean?
Mortality, loss, the cruelty associated with being alive. When it lands, it changes most profoundly one's eyes. Your eyes dim. It means wisdom, yes, but inevitably sadness as well.
I've lost people. My father, my brother.
I know, and yet, for whatever reason, you still have this spark. What shall we call it? Naivety? Hope?
Your eyes are bright too.
Well, if they are, it's done by avoiding responsibility. Constantly being on the move. No promises. That's why I've got to be careful, Sarah. Because I think you're very beautiful.
I would do anything for you.
I know. But I wouldn't do anything for you.
I don't mind.
I would rather write this than live it.
I don't believe that's true.
I brought you a drink.
Thank you. That's kind.
I am interrupting.
No, not at all.
Sorry.
The village is not happy.
The village will never be happy.
I can't.
You just have.
They tried to hold the book day in the school playground, but it was a disaster. There was a drizzle. And I know it's nonsense, but everyone was saying there was never a drizzle when it was held here. She wouldn't even have the conversation. Said she bought a garden, not a public park. Everyone's agreed. It won't happen again unless you and Audrey agree to open up the garden.
She's dead against it, I'm afraid.
Many gardens open their doors to hundreds of people. There's not a rumpus. People would be respectful.
What's she going to do with the garden? Even if she makes it exactly as she wants it, what's she planning to do with it?
Enjoy it. Have friends round, like this.
Themed parties.
Yes, little events, I suppose. People we know.
What's wrong with people you don't know?
More effort. Look, don't shoot the messenger here. I'm not in charge. How are you both? Titans of the literary world.
Good.
Yes. Well, thank you.
There's no denying it. When it's finished, it will be beautiful. What are these?
Flowers.
Don't you take any interest?
None at all. Well, I look at it, I smell it, sit by it, but that's the extent. Not much interest in anything, really. I exist, and that's enough.
What does she see in you?
I beg your pardon?
Well, you're quite unlike Nick.
As I've been told many times.
He was rugged, sexy, and you're... Well, I'm not being funny, but...
Well, as a matter of fact, I know exactly what she sees in me. She's a very busy woman, running her business. Nick was like her, frantic, 24 hours a day. And I think once she started to think about someone else, she realized exactly what she needed.
Well, you.
If I was a garden, I'd be a patio. With a few plant pots, bit of water and a tidy, done for the whole year. Low maintenance.
And you're happy with that?
Oh, yes. Edward's the same.
Well, no, I have my interests. Bird watching, actually.
You're boring, Paul. I mean, there's no two ways about it.
No, not boring. That's different. Your mother doesn't find me boring.
You don't interrupt? That's all she needs.
Who was the murderer? I lost track.
Gabriel.
Gabriel? I had no idea. Well, I had no idea what was going on, really. Never read an Agatha Christie. They do them on the television as well, don't they?
They're all the same.
They're not, actually.
Gabriel was the murderer. How did he do it?
Didn't you listen at all?
Strangulation.
You wouldn't think he had the hands.
It's all the gardening he's doing now. Matthew's the brain, Gabriel's the brawn. Good for him. Like national service, they should bring that back, don't you think?
You wouldn't have survived.
I beg your pardon.
If you'd had to do it, you wouldn't have lasted a day.
I can build a tent.
There's more to it than that.
Iron a uniform, no problem with that.
Fight. Kill.
Kill. Hard to say.
Paul, you can barely got a fish.
That's cookery. But I've been told by people who've killed a person that it very much helps to have a sense of detachment and calm. In which case, I'm ideal. Maybe that's why the British have traditionally made such good soldiers. Just at the moment your conscience should kick in, our British attitude answers back. No. No mercy. Keep calm. Carry on. Pfft, dead.
Where did it happen?
What?
The murder.
Oh, you really weren't listening, were you?
The billiard room.
Is there a billiard room?
She's converted the laundry.
It's all very complicated, isn't it?
It's obscene.
What?
To dress up like this. 1920s were awful. War across the world, women having to fight for the vote, racism, rape, murder, child abuse.
Well, I don't think you're quite entering the spirit of this evening.
Most people poor and suffering, no proper health care. If we wanted a real 1920s themed evening, we should all have come as corpses.
Well, it isn't the 1920s, it's Agatha Christie. And she generally had a quota of one corpse per event.
Speaking of corpses, wasn't Geoffrey marvellous? Surprised he agreed. Didn't look like he was breathing.
I'm not sure he was. She bribed him with 2 bottles of very good whiskey, and I think he had half of one of them before he went down.
I'm just saying, I have no idea what she's doing. Why is she trying to pretend this whole place hasn't moved on? That it's like it was. This is the 21st century. Things have changed for the better. But all these people descending on the old house, they can't wait to dress up as masters and servants, as if that was fun.
If you think all this, Anna, then why are you here? You like that spot, don't you? Always there.
Would you like another drink?
Yes, please, I want 2.
Oh, girls, here you are. I couldn't find anyone I liked.
Paul's there.
I meant you, darling. I like you.
And Anna?
Yes, of course, Anne. Don't be silly. Hello, Anna.
We're getting a drink.
Try the twinkles. Not strictly authentic to the period, vodka and champagne, but they go down a treat. Here you all are. Oh, I was disappointed it was that boy. I mean, he shouldn't really have been here at all, but Zara insisted on it. I keep asking her if she's got a thing for him, and she tells me I'm stupid. Well, I might be, but I don't see why that's such an outrageous idea. That she fall for the gardener. Happens in books.
Well, he's not her type.
Really? She told you?
She feels sorry for him.
Oh, Edward's upset about the village events.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
It didn't go well, apparently.
Thought they were using the school.
There was a drizzle.
Well, then there would have been a drizzle here.
If it had rained here, that would have added to the magic. There, it just seemed to the children like another day at school. They left early, we had to cancel the whole thing.
And I got the blame.
Well, everyone knew why the venue had changed, yes.
You seem to think I have some kind of civic responsibility, Edward, to the village. And the truth is, I just don't see it like that. I'm employing Christina, Matthew, full-time now, Gabriel. We use the village shop whenever we can. But beyond that...
This is the biggest house in the village.
I would question that.
And the house and its gardens have been used by the village for decades.
Not Weatherbury. He didn't have the villagers in to stamp over his hard work. He had invited parties. He employed a team of gardeners from the village and staff, and that was how he contributed, by providing quite a few of them with an income. And over time, as the house and its garden expands, I'm sure I'll do the same, but it will be a fair deal. Money for services. Anything else is at my discretion.
All right.
I don't take kindly to bullying and pressure. It's my home.
Our home.
It's our home. We get on well, Edward.
We do.
And if you feel so strongly about it, your garden's hardly titchy. I'm sure there's enough space there.
Marjorie and I feel the pond is too dangerous for the children.
Oh, I see.
Either way, tonight has been hugely enjoyable. Might head back in. Recharge.
Paul is going to go with you.
Am I?
Yes.
Right. All right.
I read your latest book.
And did you enjoy it?
I didn't.
That's a shame.
Did you write it very quickly?
No.
I felt like it was sneering at people.
At who?
People who work hard but don't necessarily make a lot of money. People who don't necessarily have the time to understand the ins and outs of current affairs.
Oh, it's poor people.
Yes, poor people, but also just normal, everyday people who aren't hugely ambitious but enjoy their lives in a dignified and law-abiding way as teachers, doctors, shopkeepers. I don't know. People who install phone lines. Whatever, there was something in the tone which sounded like you didn't like these people very much.
Yes, well, I don't. A lot of them I'm really fucked off with.
You gave them names, didn't Like, what was it? Patricia Smallmind. Gary Numb.
It's a comedy.
It's not exactly subtle.
It's a satire on the willfully ignorant people who seem to be full of hate, but whose voice seems to have grown to dominate completely during the last few years, and who are responsible for the shocking results of a completely unnecessary plebiscite.
Yes, but those people, in general, are the ones without the power. So to satirise them...
Without the power, that's not true anymore. Hungary, the United States, here. And in time, it might create something that you really don't want. The rise of something that Weatherbury fought against, that your own son fought against. Fascism. But not abroad, here. That's what the book's about. It's not just a satire, it's a warning.
Well, it wasn't very funny.
What you look for, is it?
In a comedy, yeah. Oh. It's certainly something to get me from page 1 to page 587.
Well, it's selling very well.
Oh, I'm sure. People love to sneer.
Look, I'm making the point that this feeling is being driven by inequality and resentment. But there should be tax policies which encourage distribution of wealth.
Oh, yes, all right.
Everyone should have good quality education, healthcare, housing.
You are naive. Catherine, this is why I love you in my life. I'm head, responsible, sensible, wanting facts, practice, preparation. You are completely heart. You don't need the facts because you feel something to be true. And that is wonderful, but I've advised the government on manufacturing policy on social deprivation and employment. People want secure, fairly paid jobs so they can provide for their families. That's what they all say. I know the facts.
You don't know anyone who earns less than the average salary.
Can we stop? Please? I know you're being provocative. That's your thing. But I'm not as young as I used to be. And I'm looking at the stars. And I'm thinking they are beautiful.
They are.
This garden is all heart. For me. First time in my life. Massive risk.
Regret it?
Not for a second. Oh, I have a problem with Anna.
Really?
Oh, I mean, she wasn't even engaged to James. The evidence of his feelings is a couple of letters, which he suggests he wanted to spend his life with her, but well, who knows? But now since the thing with his ashes, she comes here every Saturday.
Oh, to see
No,
you.
here, to this garden. She sits under the tree and reads all day and then goes home in the evening. And it means if we want to do work here in this garden or just make use of it at the weekend, it is very awkward. She's got no interest in making conversation.
Well, she's stuck on James, isn't
Look,
she?
I don't mean to be cruel, but she has got to find something better to do with her life.
Talk to her. She clearly loved him. Maybe you can share that.
Grief isn't really something you share. Everyone talks about it like that. Really, you go through it on your own. In the nights. when it interrupts your thoughts. Still, years later, you don't share that. You work it out alone.
Well, she's not working it out at all.
I'm considering being cruel to be kind.
Well, just be kind. I need to ask you something. Tell you something. Ask you something.
Are you stuck?
Sorry. It's just... It's awkward.
You can't shock me, Catherine. I've seen every inch of you at college, all your indiscretions. What is it? Have you done something bad?
No.
Do you need money?
It's Zara.
What about her?
Well, I know this sounds unlikely.
I've literally never seen you so hesitant. Shall I call an ambulance? It's like a medical condition. What about Zara? Has she said something awful? I will get her to apologize.
No,
she can be
please.
very cutting. She is intelligent, and that's the unfortunate byproduct. Cruelty. And before you say it, yes, she's much like her mother.
Aude, I'm in love with her.
Why?
I'm sorry?
Why on earth would you be in love with? She's 23. She hasn't got a clue how anything works. She's got her father's lack of concentration, her grandmother's selfishness. She says the most ridiculous... She's a child. My daughter.
I know.
You've only met her a few times here, and then you're signing that she went to?
Yeah.
And now here, again, tonight. Love. Is that a thing anyone does these days? I mean, people sleep with people, they have affairs and marriages. I haven't heard of anyone falling in love for years. Are you lonely?
No more so than before. No more so than for years.
Is this something to do with me? Is this to get back at me
No,
for
it's
something?
nothing to do with you.
Well, you mustn't tell her. That would be awful. Can you imagine some older woman coming up to you when you're 23 and saying they're in love with you? If you avoided vomiting on them immediately, it would be very awkward. Especially if it was your mum's best friend. This is like one of those stories you see on daytime television.
She feels the same.
Oh, for Christ's sake. It's the books! She's fallen in love with the book. She's being a romantic. She thinks you're some blessed creature touched by a godlike genius to write these great works. She's flattered you. You've fallen for her, and now she's under your spell. Without a thought for how it's actually going to work, how you're actually going to do things together or have sex. You thought about that? How the two of you would have sex?
Well, yes.
You're right.
Quite a lot.
Well, don't actually. Maybe you should. It's absurd.
I'm sorry.
If I'm honest, it disgusts me. I forbid it.
Oh,
I forbid you, Catherine, from having anything to do with my daughter. This isn't real. This is unbalanced and unrealistic. There are reasons why these kind of relationships always end badly.
Not always.
Yes, they always do. An age gap like this, 10 years is possible, 20 years is highly unlikely, but 30 years, it's just a physical, biological, scientific impossibility. And if you continue, you will come out of it much the same. But she will be devastated. Her view of the world destroyed.
I don't agree.
Well, how convenient. Does our friendship matter to you?
Of course.
Don't do it. You put our relationship first. Don't go anywhere near her this evening. Lock your bedroom door tonight, leave tomorrow, and never contact her again. If our friendship means the 36 years I think it does, you will control yourself. You do this for me.
You can't protect her like this. Stop her growing
Oh,
up.
God, I want her to grow up. Live a little. Make mistakes. Just God, not with you. Do I have your word that you'll stay away from her? It's a crush for her, but for you, it's nostalgia. It's remembering when we were just coming up. The potential. But look in the mirror and accept what you see. All right?
The head above the heart.
Sometimes it has to be.
Catherine, Zara said to tell you she's in the living room.
I might go to bed.
Good idea.
Good night, Anna.
Night.
Had a bit too much to drink.
Me too. Sleep well. I was going to go with him to where we first met, Blackfriars Bridge. Put some ashes there. Some on his favourite walk he used to do with you. Some by the house where you brought him up. I was going to keep some in a small locket for me. But you took all that away. You're right, I suppose he's in everything here now. The trees, the grass, plants, whatever they are.
Exactly.
Nowhere else. You wanted to claim him, put him in your house, your garden, under your protection. Well, now he's in the ground. This has become my ground. My garden. My plants and my place.
You have clearly had a few.
Yeah, I have 7 twinkles. Why did you let him join the army? Zara said it. Came out of the blue. She thought you'd talk him round, but you encouraged it. Everyone in his life thought it was a crazy idea, but you said you'd be proud of him.
I was proud. I still am.
And then he went and got killed. In a nasty, nasty way. You know how he died?
Yes.
But exactly how he died.
I have no desire to hear the gruesome detail.
But I felt I had to. So unlike you, I am living in a reality, living with what really happened. Why did you encourage
These
him?
are my children! I don't have to answer to you! It's going to rain.
Afternoon.
Oh. Right.
She's back today.
I know. Are you going?
Next door?
Yeah.
No, it's her birthday.
Oh. I thought perhaps you might later on with Sarah.
We can't, we're celebrating. There's plans. You looking forward to seeing her? Zara?
Very much.
What time does it start?
What?
The festival?
Soon, but it goes on all evening.
Is it fun?
Yeah. It's like lanterns, dancing. It's like a Midsummer Night's Dream. A real festival where the normal social order gets turned on its head.
Well, I can see why she refused permission for that to happen here. Last thing she wants. Do you believe there's a one person out there for us all?
No.
Then you must think it's strange what I did.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, Gabriel, stop lying. I'm fully aware of what you said in the pub.
I didn't say anything at the pub.
I have my spies. And I realise this is still unusual for people round here, a woman making a decision like this. And you'd be right, you'd be flawless in your argument if it wasn't for the fact that James was my one, my absolute best man. And if I'm going to have a child, there has been, will be. No one better to be his father, and is what he wanted, which is why he froze it in the first place. Just in case the worst happens. After she scattered him here. But it made me think you don't know what I meant to him. What he meant to me. And I realized I had to go through with it. The pledge we made to each other. And that week, I made an appointment, and then once it worked, I couldn't stop coming here. To be with him. I'll never stop coming here. We'll raise him together.
It's a boy.
Yes. So what do you think now?
Dunno.
That's your answer.
How are you feeling? You any happier?
No. But she's being very kind. Starting to see what James meant about her. Shouldn't have said that in the pub.
People talk about people.
Doctor wanted to give me pills.
Maybe you should think about it.
For mood swings.
Pills can work well.
I like my moods.
Pills can give you room to recover.
Do you ever hear him when you're working?
Who?
James talking.
No.
Sometimes I see him too.
What, you think you see him?
Tell that to your friends in the pub. Or put it in one of your stories. When does your course start? Must be soon, right? New term?
Well,
You must be keen to get next door.
Yeah, in a bit.
Your friends going?
No, most of them aren't around now. Uni.
Matthew and I will be. We love it. And he's good mates with Jeff Leslie, who's coming on later. Last year, they played on the steps, those steps over there. Oh, picnic blankets, the old village come out listening. It weren't just the notes that were magical. It was the silences in between. You could have heard a pin drop, just shivers down the spine. Oh, seems a long time ago, all that now. Oh, it'll be different this year. Smaller. But it's good of Edward. And if the weather holds... Matthew used to sing. Long time ago now. How about you? You going?
They have to be here for when she gets back.
Well, she don't have to.
Well, I made her a cake.
You do. What, that's yours? Well, looks very nice. How are you?
Why does everyone keep asking me that?
'Cause you look ill. I sure get on.
It's a sponge. I made the jam from the strawberries in the garden.
Very enterprising.
She says one day there'll be a whole vegetable garden down the side. Says it'll be able to sustain the house for a year.
Well, we'll see.
What?
Rumours.
What rumours?
Just that. No point repeating.
Oh, I've missed this.
I was just... I'd only just sat down.
Oh, it's fine, Cheryl.
How was London?
2 days was enough. Best thing we did getting out of it. London is a workplace, not a home. It's so easy to see that now.
I agree.
Oh, no. Oh, I only think that because I'm old. You must miss the excitement of it. Don't you?
London's just about money now.
Well, Zara will be here shortly, someone to play with.
I believe her room's ready.
Right, we'll have the cake out here. Anna, I assume there is a cake.
Wait and see.
Don't be obtuse. I'm tired. I've had a long day and I need to make plans. Is there a cake or not?
Yes, I made it.
Right, well, perhaps bring it out here. We'll have to... You made it. You made it yourself.
Yes.
And it's...
What?
Well, it's all right, is it? It looks like a cake. Oh, God, we'll just have to ignore that, I suppose. Why is it starting and stopping?
Sound check.
I thought it was acoustic guitars.
No, there's a stage and all sorts. Microphone.
In Edward's garden? Why? It's tiny.
Apparently it's a lot of fun.
I'm sorry?
I actually thought maybe after tea we could all go.
There, no, I've got plans for us this evening. Zara particularly. I haven't seen her for months. I don't want her disappearing. I've pictured this evening, my birthday in this wonderful garden with my family around me. I have a picture in my head. The sound isn't ideal, but at least let me have the picture.
Bet this wasn't in the picture.
As a matter of fact, it was. It might not be what we all imagined, but I don't deny fact.
Well, I better get on. Lots to do.
Honestly. I'd pay an extra £1 an hour just to lose the atmosphere. There's something I wanted to talk to you about. It's very awkward. But you mentioned a few days ago that you were looking to give up your flat?
Yes.
Yes. Well, that confused me. And I wondered what your plan was. With this child on the way, where are you intending to live?
When you put me to bed that night, you said it was all right and that you'd look after me as long as I needed, that I could stay here with James as long as that was useful.
Yes, but
and it's been perfect. I love it. I walk along the croft every morning by the fields. I picked plums from the bush and made a crumble and ate it all. Yesterday, while you were away. I don't want to go back.
Your work?
I'm signed off. You and Paul have been so kind, and in London, working every day in marketing, just to pay the rent. I forgot what life was about. I'm even making friends.
Really?
Yes.
Because you spend so much time in this garden.
What better place for a child to grow up? I know we haven't spoken about it, but I was intending to, and I thought, of course you'd want your own grandchild under your roof.
There's the issue of independence.
And if I'm living here, there's no point in continuing to pay rent on a London flat, so I thought if I let it go...
Anna. Paul and I have also had a lovely time with you here. I'm pleased it's gone some way to getting you back on your feet, but to stay here in the long term, it's something quite different.
I know I should have mentioned it before now, but I was worried what you might say.
I don't believe it's good for us as grandparents to this child to take away your independence.
What do you mean?
Look, at the moment, you have a flat of your own, a life of your own. That is what you need to rely on, to build up as you become a mother. Not to fall back on us, to live our life.
I'm not leaving.
Look,
You promised.
I know it's difficult.
That's not an answer, that's just words to fill the silence. I need to finish the icing.
Oh, Cheryl, if you want to sit down for a moment.
fine.
You're not, please. Cheryl, you're not happy with me. I can't have awkwardness in my own home. Tell me.
You said I was slow.
No, Oh, who told you that?
Zara told Gabriel, he told Matthew.
Well, Gabriel shouldn't be talking about things that don't concern... Yes, I suppose I did feel that the size of the house with the standard I required was too much for you, and then you got ill. And the choice was out of our hands, wasn't it? Really? Now it's worked out for the best.
Not the same hours.
No, but it's not
Matthew
like you...
can't go on working like he is. He's not well either.
What do you mean? None of my business, I'm sorry.
Point is, I'll take any extra hours you can give.
That's up to Christina, isn't? I just require that the house is clean.
Thought you asked
I
her.
asked her to consider you for some work here, yes, and clearly she did, so that's good.
She takes a cut.
Well, she's managing it, is...
Have you finished the dining room?
Nearly.
Everything else is done.
Do you have a problem with me?
Cheryl.
I work with you. Mrs. Walters asked me to take you on, and I said, yes, that's fine.
You're rude to me.
I don't really know you, sorry.
It's all right.
You don't have a sense of humor.
I'm at work.
Maybe this is a cultural thing.
Oh, no, it isn't.
You think I took your job.
Well, you did take my job.
Mrs. Walters gave the work to me, and that's up to her.
'Cause I've not been well.
I know, and I'm sorry about that,
I've been here 20 years.
And you're still here.
Not like I was.
I don't know what to say.
It's all right, Chrissy, thank you.
I'll finish up in the kitchen, and then I'll go.
Thank you.
Shouldn't have said all that.
What's wrong with Matthew?
I can't tell you.
Please.
He's proud.
Chatting on the job?
Oh, you chat on the job.
What I do is different. Gardening's an art.
Cleaning's a science.
Right, how's the holly?
Nearly gone.
And the box?
Coming on Thursday. I won't be here, but Gabriel knows what to do.
Gabriel doesn't talk to me. He used to say hello at least. Now he just nods. Have I done something wrong?
No, he's a quiet lad in his own world. I'll tell him to be polite.
No, don't. It's fine.
Up to you. Well, I'm going now because I had an early start. Gabriel will be here till 4, probably. He's doing the borders. Now, you sure you don't want any extra hours here tonight or tomorrow?
No, think we're fine.
It's not as finished as I'd like. There's a lot of work to be done
It's
here.
quite all right. Go home.
Your garden, Mrs. Walters. When are you finished?
Shortly.
Box is coming on Thursday.
You said.
Right then. See you tomorrow.
There's nothing I should know.
He loves this place. It's his whole life. He stays up at night reading documents, going over photographs. When you cut down the hours, it weren't the money he missed. He just wasn't sure you could get done what you wanted in time.
Look, I thought we should pace ourselves. We've made good progress this year. We can enjoy it. We can do a little less.
Right.
Has he seen anyone?
Not yet.
The sooner the better. There's pills.
Nothing worse than unsolicited advice, Mrs. Walters. He'd be nothing without his pride, his dignity.
Well, that I understand. Cheryl, Zara's on her way. She'll be here any minute. Can you ask Christina to send us some tea out?
Well, I don't mind.
Oh,
doing
look,
it.
either way, just... A constant process. One is always tending, pruning, encouraging and evolving, never still, never ending, always in flux. But still, one can enjoy the resting beauty of a certain summer's day, when all of nature takes a breath and in a second stops, waiting there to be beheld.
Happy birthday.
I thought when we got back I could relax. It's like a war zone.
Look,
Oh. Shall I open it?
you should.
Oh.
It was Weatherbury's. Took quite a bit of tracking down to a collector in the States. I got in contact, made him an offer. Reasonable chap.
This was it.
Certainly one of them. We think it's probably the one you see in the photos. The one he refers to in his diary. Just because the handle's been replaced at some point.
I had no idea.
This means a lot to you.
It does.
Have you had a
No,
chance to
Paul,
think
we
about it?
just got home.
Of course. Absolutely. It's just they took me aside after dinner last night. Gave me a wonderful brandy, didn't ask for it. They hoped I might have a word.
You? What about?
There were things they were nervous to say to your face.
What things?
Without you, they're struggling.
I'm there for the key
And
decisions.
they feel your attention isn't what it was.
They're right. It's not. My attention is here. They should be able to deal with this.
Apparently they can't. Everything's changed this year, hasn't it? I suppose. Rocky Road.
No, you just want to go back to London, back to your galleries, your concerts. You're desperate to go back to your kind of people.
Well, that's tremendously unfair. I want what you want.
I want to do this.
All right.
Look what we've achieved. Isn't it magnificent?
It's wonderful.
One sits here, looks out, you get just a glimpse of what this place was. What it felt like. It's something utterly unique.
The only thing is, it's not real, is it? It's a choice to live in the past.
But if we do it, it won't be in the past. It'll be now. It'll be new and full of opportunity. It can be more than it was with Weatherbury. Expanded, new plans, new ideas. This is our little piece of the world, and we're allowed to do with it exactly as we like. Yes, there are problems. I admit it. We'll find a solution. We need optimism. Fighting talk.
More hours, harder work. That's the way forward. Spirit! We can do this. Yes? Together, we'll fix the business. We'll keep this whole thing expanding and growing. I know we can. Will you just let me have my birthday? Today? I will come up with a solution. I will. But tomorrow...
Well, it would certainly be a shame not to use the trowel.
Where would I be without you?
In exactly the same place, I should think. I just count myself lucky to be along for the ride.
I tried to speak to Anna.
How did she take it?
She didn't.
Hello.
You, oh,
Happy birthday.
what are you doing here? I didn't think, are you with Zara?
I'm afraid Azara is not coming.
Yes, she is. She's getting the train.
I was at Paddington to see her off, and she didn't feel well. She felt that I should come instead to give you her present. Wish you happy birthday from both of us. Here. And now I can turn straight back round and back to London if you want. But we felt one of us should be here.
Why didn't she come?
She didn't feel well.
She was fine on the phone.
Well, sometimes these things happen quickly, don't they? You'll have to take my word.
And you too?
Hello, Catherine.
Oh, hi, Paul. You all right?
Yes, thanks.
Yes, us too.
You're still...
She's living in my house, yes, or do you know that? She's been there for weeks.
Sorry, I'm going to need a better explanation that she wasn't feeling well. She hasn't called. I've got my mobile. She could have called at any moment. I could call her.
She won't answer.
What is going on?
I told her I'd just say she wasn't feeling well.
You need to work on your excuses. It's a vital part of being a functioning couple, having believable excuses for each other, isn't it, Paul?
Oh, yes.
Right.
Vital, I'd say.
So?
She doesn't like it here. She says the people are small-minded. She finds this garden, with the association with James. She says she finds it morbid and awful. And she hates the tension between you and Anna.
There isn't any tension.
Actually, they're getting on rather well at the moment.
What does she mean that people are small-minded?
Well...
The people around here might not be at the cutting edge of whatever fashion gives her a sense of worth, but they're better than the friends she tends to
I'm
make.
just relaying what she said at the station. I didn't see it coming either, but she very much freaked out.
Surely even if she hated it here, she'd know what it would mean to see me on my birthday.
Well, I've delivered my message and more than I was intending. Would you like me to stay or turn around and leave? I'd understand either way.
You look ridiculous.
I wanted to be celebratory. You're only 55 once. And the last birthday of yours I got to was when you were 27. Had them then too. So I thought I'd make an effort. I bought them in the station. A couple in my hair. This is from her. Happy birthday.
Right, thank you.
Hello, Cheryl.
Hello.
Very nice.
You bought this.
No,
There's absolutely no possibility that she would choose a necklace, and it's even less likely, even if she did, that it would suit me.
I helped.
She said you were encouraging her to write.
Yes. And I've introduced her to some people who have read some sections and been encouraging.
Really, is she really up to that? Is it good?
It's very promising.
I never had her down as someone creative like that.
Well, she is.
Here we are.
Look at that. Wonderful.
Why does it say SS?
I suspect it's supposed to be 55. Anna made it. Cheryl, where is Anna?
She said I should make a start, bring out the cake, light the candle.
But where is she?
She was on her way
Oh,
upstairs.
Paul, go and get her. We're not doing this without her. I hope she's not going into a mood because of what we spoke about. Would you?
With pleasure.
What did you speak about?
Nothing.
What's that?
Every year the village holds its own music festival, apparently, and I'm told, like everything else that's traditionally happened in my back garden, well, they got the message. So they didn't even ask me. Now, Edward's having it in his garden instead. They've had to reduce the size of it, I understand, but clearly not the volume.
The gardeners grow.
Yes? We've laid out the plans for next year. You can see it's going to take a while, but even from what we've achieved in here, you can see the potential. Gabriel, I thought you'd finished for the day.
I have. Oh. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well.
Is Zara here?
Thank you. Zara couldn't make it.
I thought...
She wasn't well.
I emailed her and she said she was coming.
I'm afraid not.
And you and her, you're still...
Still...
together?
Yes, we are.
You been at the festival?
Yes.
How is it?
Good. Just starting. Was Anna ready?
What?
Anna just messaged. She said she wanted to come. She asked me to come and get
She's with me this afternoon.
Okay, but she messaged.
She's in the house.
Right.
Another one gone. Hope you like cake, Catherine.
Shall I light the
No,
candle?
thank you, Cheryl. If you need to go home, now would be a good time.
Because I don't...
Really,
mi-
we're fine.
Right.
Wait for Paul to come back, I suppose. I checked with the council, but there's nothing I can do. You've got no right to peace and quiet. That one can go out into your own garden and have it the way you want it to be, even on your birthday. They hate me in the village. They have names for me. But I'll win them round. When the garden's complete and a success, attracting high-profile visitors, and this village is back on the map. When I'm dead and gone, and the National Trust take it over, and the tourists flock in, and this village thrives, I will be thanked. They hated Weatherbury, too. By all accounts, he had 4 friends. All other gardeners. Didn't socialise with anyone locally, or the staff. He just focused his energies on the garden. And if he hadn't, we wouldn't have the model for all English gardens in the future, the genius and the glory. Still, I knew this wasn't going to be easy. Some things are worth the trouble, the ignominy. It's what this country was built on. Strong ideas, principles. Catherine. There's a little tea room by the shop. I'd love to go and have a coffee sometimes. I can't.
It's not nice to be hated. To be talked about.
Zara's not a writer. Why are you lying
Her writing's
to her?
raw, needs shaping.
She's your
but
prey.
really,
You
Audrey,
flatter her, so
it's-
she stays with you. Catherine, I begged. I stood here in this garden and I said if our friendship means anything, you should leave her alone. And you promised you would. Next thing I know, you and her are living together.
We're in love.
She might be, but you should know better. I lie in bed at night just thinking about what you're doing to my daughter. I think about it all the time.
We used to lie in bed together.
I beg your pardon.
Have you forgotten? You and I. We talk through the night.
Talk? Yes, but we never...
What?
I never had feelings for you.
I did.
What?
I had feelings for you at the time. But then...
What?
I got to know you.
You are always dangerous. This is a betrayal, and I would love to say that this comes as a surprise, but I learned when we were 21, when the chips were down with me, no money, my family in another country, dumped by my boyfriend. I called you up and I said, I need help. And you made all sorts of promises, but you never actually came. You never looked after me.
I had my own life.
My son dies, and you don't visit. You send an email. You don't write a letter like everyone else. What?
I felt it very deeply.
In your email, you said you'd be there. You said you'd keep checking in. You said if there was anything you could do to just let me know that you were there
And
for
I
me.
meant
And
it.
you weren't there. You never checked in.
I didn't know what to say.
And yet you manage 587 pages on people that don't exist.
I know everything about you and your family. I keep up. I ask you questions every time we meet. But what do you really know about me? About things that have happened to me?
What is there to know?
Exactly. You didn't even know that people bought my books. Have I fallen in love before? What about my family?
You don't have a family.
Are you sure about that? Every conversation we have, I come away from feeling 100% up to date on your life and that you're none the wiser about mine because you don't
No,
laugh.
you tell me stories.
I entertain you because if I don't, you start thinking about something else.
Nonsense.
Because I don't have children like one is supposed to. I don't live in one place. I don't like men. I don't live a life that you understand or approve of or want to know about. So you just put me in a generally eccentric place and move on. We're not friends. I'm a supporting character in your story.
Then why do you keep coming back?
I asked myself that before I got on the train today, and do you know what I believe is the reason?
Enlighten me.
I think I feel I owe you something. You looked after me at university. I'm aware I've let you down, and I think I feel guilty. But since meeting Zara, that's gone. Because she does ask me about myself. She knows more about me after 4 months than you do after 30 years. And you're wrong. We're going to live together for a very long time. And you're twice wrong because she has genuine talent. And it will be recognised. It's a shame it hasn't been by you.
I know my daughter.
Yeah, no, you really don't, Aude.
Your judgment is clouded by love. You will ruin her. So, Catherine, I'm going to make this very clear to you. Either you let her go, or I will arrange a profile piece in the Sunday Times magazine where I go into every detail of this. My daughter's infatuation with this older writer, how you appeared to groom her, then lure her into your home and stop her talking to me. I will destroy your reputation and your career unless you stop.
You don't get to make those decisions for her
I
because
do.
she is an adult.
I do.
She is allowed to make her own choice.
No, she isn't! I'm her mother! And contrary to popular belief amongst daughters, mothers actually do continue to know what's best until they die! Not that you would understand that!
I want children and couldn't have them. Have I ever been pregnant? What's my brother's name? Are my parents still alive? When did I come out? What other friends do I have?
You're never here!
You wonder why? Do your article. Because when they call me up and ask me about my friend Audrey Walters, I'll say I don't know what she's talking about. She's not my friend. She doesn't know me at all.
Anna's going.
We know, to the festival. Now come and sing me happy birthday.
No, properly going. She's packed a bag. I tried to stop her, but she's standing in the hall right now, and she says if you don't go in there this minute and reassure her she can stay here, she's going to the festival with Gabriel, going to get drunk and never come back. That you'd never see your grandchild.
I will not be threatened!
This minute?
Yes?
1 minute.
Yes, what did you say to her? You're not going to try to stop her?
Empty threats.
Principle's fine, Audrey, but you'll end up alone.
There, sit down, Paul. She won't drink. She's not stupid. She'll just go and calm down and work out I'm right. She can't live here her whole life.
Well, you told her she had to leave.
She's obsessed with this garden. It isn't healthy.
Oh, coming from you?
Not the plants, my son!
What are you doing with your life, Audrey?
I am sticking to a set of principles! I am holding the line, or we'd have chaos. We'd lose what men died to protect. And if I'm the only one, if that means I'm on my own, then so be it. You look like you want to leave.
Desperately.
Then go and get on the train. And when you get back to the house, to my daughter, pack her bags and tell her it's finished. Throw her out on the step and tell her to get home.
You wonder why she didn't come. Bye, Paul.
Goodbye. Just us, then. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Audrey. I am so completely in love with you.
When the night shows, the signals grow on radios. All the strange things, they come and go as early warnings. Stranded starfish have no place to hide, still waiting for the swollen Easter tide. There's no point in direction. We cannot even choose a side. Took the old track, the hollow shoulder across the waters. On the tall cliffs, they were getting older, sons and daughters. The jaded underworld was riding high. Waves of steel hurled metal at the sky. And as the nails sunk in the cloud, the rain was warm and soaked the crowd. Lord, here comes the flood. We will say goodbye to flesh and blood. If again the seas are silent in any still alive, it'll be those who gave their island to survive. Drink up, dreamers, you're running dry. When the flood calls, you have no home, you have no walls. In that thunder crash, you're 1,000 miles within a flash. Don't be afraid to cry at what you see. The actor's gone, there's only you and me. And if we break before the dawn, they'll use up what we used to be. Lord, here comes the flood. We will say goodbye to flesh and blood. If again the seas are silent in any still alive, it'll be those who gave their island to survive. Drink up, dreamers, you're running dry.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
What's it like? Cleaning?
It is sometimes about scrubbing people's shit off toilet bowls. It is sometimes about being on your hands and knees and working hard. But with the right tools, it's not so difficult.
But is it what you want to do?
No, I'm not a cleaner. I have a plan.
What plan?
My boyfriend is in Poland now and doing well. I'll join him in 2 months and we'll work together. We're thinking about a year we'll buy a house.
You like Poland?
Yes. I mean, it's a place.
Maybe I'll move to Poland.
You should. It's very beautiful. Or some of it. I heard what you did. Your mother told me. I was the only person in the house when she got off the phone, and I think she wanted to tell someone, so she told me.
Feel like dying?
It's nothing.
It was in the papers.
I saw. But everyone will forget.
They won't.
They will. They don't know who you are, really. They don't care that much.
I don't know who I am.
It's not important to know who you are, just what you want to do. What do you want to do today?
Hide?
Okay, then hide. I'm leaving now.
Christina, thank you. Do stay in touch.
I will.
You know, I've enjoyed our conversations. I have this feeling that you'll do very well.
Yeah, I think so too.
Edo, thank you for all you've done. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience.
How long will they be building?
8 months.
Do you think... will it look the same?
Well, you've seen the plan.
Yes, but it's so hard to tell. We made our objections, but they fell on deaf ears. I understand the push for more housing. It's just not what this place was meant to be, is it? Almost wonder if they're so keen to make it into flats, if they do better to pull the whole place down and start again. You do have to go.
Yes.
There really was no other buyer.
Not for a reasonable price.
Nothing left in the end, is there, but money? Always money.
Thank you.
What for?
You've always been kind.
Well, I hope so. Anyway, goodbye. We'll make the best of it. We always do. New neighbours. Lots of them. Got to help business at the shop, I suppose.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
I love you.
You too?
They're nearly finished.
Already?
Well, you saw how many of them there were. Ruthless. That's why they're so fast, I suppose. No sentiment. They just scoop it into boxes and gone. And thank goodness, not long now. Did you check the bedroom?
Yes, I think so.
When does it happen?
In an hour. Well, 50 minutes, completion at 1 p.m., all being well. Do you want me to take this, put it in the car?
What?
Your bag.
Oh, thank you.
Would you do a last check downstairs that we've got everything?
Yes, of course. I'm sorry all this is happening. It's the last thing you want. You need stability.
We'll have it in a couple of days. Back on home turf. Not the same house, but all our old friends, the old places. Be so good to be back.
Renting.
Yeah, only till you find the right place.
I dreamt of dying in this garden. I was this old woman surrounded by grandchildren. Great grandchildren. the sunlight on my face, I'd just go. No one would realize for a while. That's how peaceful it would be. And now, well...
You're a long way off that.
No, I'm not really. You heard anything from her?
No.
Why did you do it?
Well, she wouldn't return my calls, my texts, emails, and I had to speak to her.
Why?
Oh, it didn't make any sense. We were close. Everything was good. And then suddenly she went cold.
She gets scared of stability, relationships.
But I was different.
She didn't talk to you about it?
As the weeks went past, I realised the reason she didn't want me contacting her is that I'm an embarrassment. The amount of important people in the literary world I met as her girlfriend. I must have looked so stupid. I'll always be that idiot girl on her arm.
Until you do something more important.
Not very likely. My writing's childish. They're all complimentary, the agents, publishers, when they thought I was her girlfriend. Now word's got out it's over, they'll probably not return my calls, even. Especially after what I did.
Tell me.
You know.
I know it was coffee.
Yeah. Well, that's it, really. She was halfway through a reading, and I walked to the front and just threw this large cup of coffee over her. And shouted that she was the opposite of everything she professed. And she was cruel. And she hated women. And she hated people. She was loathsome and selfish. I shouted and shouted. I was crying. Had to be led away. And it was in the news the next day. And they called me an ex-lover? Lover? It's that tone they use. And it's the same sex. Like, arguments and violence are inevitable. Put my name into Google and pictures come up of me shouting on that day. Whole story. Can't remove it. It's me forever. Look mentally ill. Maybe I am.
You're not ill. Just young.
So what's happening with your book?
Sent it to a couple of agents, but...
Good. At least they know who you are now. You've got contacts. Exploit them.
You didn't say anything to her when she came here.
Like what?
To break us up.
Sweetheart, if you really loved each other, what could I say?
Because if you did say something, then you took away my life. My future. You realize that? So...
You will have a wonderful future. Just wait and see.
We found it, Mrs. Walters! We found it!
Matthew!
Oh, it's so sad.
It was propped up against the summer house.
Oh, I told him you were leaving and he wouldn't stop going on about his blooming spade. So I said, all right, come on, let's go and find it. Chance to see the place before the end. Well, no, not the end really, I suppose. No, new owners.
Developers. They're going to convert it into flats and divide up the garden so each flat has a small patch of its own. It's good in a way. It's the natural extension. Democracy. More housing.
What, flats?
Yes.
What, did no one want it all?
Not at a reasonable price.
Oh, how many people gonna live here then?
30?
But, oh, it's so sad, Mrs. Walters, after what you wanted to do.
Yeah, well. It turns out it's not enough to have a dream. When the house you remembered requires hundreds of thousands of pounds of work just to stay up. The garden even more. Groundwater, disease in half the trees, minor bees everywhere, ants. It's just, there's some things you can't restore. The earth itself. You know that, Matthew.
What?
And it's probably right that I refocus my efforts on the business. It's been suffering. We need to stabilize that. We need to build everything back up. Paul is right. It's the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Not been put to bed properly. Is Gabriel around?
Not yet. He said he tried to stop by.
Oh, we'll miss him then.
How are you?
Oh, looking after each other, aren't we?
We are.
We have good sex. Now, that is one of the few points where we communicate exactly as we always did. It's good, isn't it?
I'm not sure I want to talk about that
Oh,
in front
what
of...
does it matter?
No, I suppose not. Yes, we have very good sex, Mrs. Walters.
Well, that's nice.
Is Gabriel around?
Maybe later.
So we'll miss him.
I think so. Come on, let's get you back.
There's not much garden to see.
Well, when it was confirmed, the sale, there didn't seem any point in expending any more time or money, so the whole thing will just...
Rot.
Yeah. Back into the ground.
Shit-hole.
What will they do to it? What will it look like? I can't imagine. New cottages in the garden? Access road?
More housing, which we need.
And who'd live here if it wasn't beautiful? What would be the point?
A roof over your head?
Is that it? Oh, Cheryl, I meant to give you so I was going to post it. It's not a huge amount. It's just a way of saying thank you.
We didn't expect...
It's not a huge amount.
No. Anyway, it's appreciated. Thank you. Now, come on, let's get you home.
There should be roses here. And snowdrops.
Not this time of year.
March.
It's November.
Smells like March.
Take care. Even with death, most things carry on. Plants, seed, children are born, inheritance. One generation after another, but there is a time when that stops, when for one reason or another a species dies. A culture expires, that particular line of history just comes to an end. I know you and your friends and Catherine, you all laughed at me for wanting to do this, but don't you think there was something in all of this that was worth preserving? That some part of it, just some little part of it, might be good?
You wanted it to be What you remembered.
This wasn't about me, really, Zara. It was so the world that you and your children were going to live in had some sense of its past, of its roots, so you weren't just living in the next email, the next trend.
I don't think I'll have children.
Gabriel.
No, he's asleep. Anna is just coming.
Anna, I wrote and told her we were leaving. I didn't hear back.
Oh, isn't he beautiful?
Oh, Stanley.
I braced myself for a change, but I had no idea. Hello?
Anna. I didn't think you'd come.
They literally about to arrive?
Yes, it could be this afternoon, apparently. They won't waste time. He looks like Zara. Your eyes, though.
He frowns sometimes. It's the one time I can see James in him.
You staying?
With Gabriel, for tonight.
And then?
I'm renting a small cottage in the village. My stuff arrives tomorrow morning.
What, you're going to live here?
Got more friends here than there.
Your flat in London?
Not with Stanley, it's by Main Road. We're going to settle here, save up, then maybe buy one of these when they finish them.
Sweetheart. He's gone. It's just ashes.
And why did it mean so much to you?
I wanted him to be at home.
So why are you leaving? Actually, I know what you think they say about you after you leave the shop. Why no one will return your calls. Why everyone gets the newsletter through their door and you don't. It's exactly what you think it is. Someone has to do something or it'll just be some stranger living here trampling him with no idea. I'm going to find out which flat gets this bit of garden and I'll buy it and I'll live here with Stanley.
You have to understand.
You didn't know James, by the way. The way you talk about him, it's a different person to the one I fell in love with.
Why would you say that now?
Because you need to know.
I knew every part of him. He was my son. You were with him for 3 months. You don't understand why he joined the army. Why he went to fight for the country, for the place he loved. If that confuses you, you didn't understand him at all. He adored this country and believed in it.
Didn't believe in it. What we were doing over there, he told me he had lost all faith it will ever get better. No strategy, he said. Never had been. He thought it was a folly. He died for nothing.
Rubbish.
Anna, leave her alone.
And then you scattered him in this mess. In this indulgent waste of time. You ruined his life, and now you've ruined his death too.
I think, even though this has failed and we've had to give it up, there will be some value in what we achieved.
What value?
Romance isn't false. It's spirit that can inspire real change.
I don't know what that means.
Then think about it! Oh,
All right, all right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right. You going back to London too?
Yes? Work?
No, you mean writing.
Yes.
How's it going?
My first novella is being read, so we'll see. How's yours? Did you end up doing English or creative writing?
No. No.
He didn't go. He has to look after his mum and the thought of them both surviving on the student loan and then come out with that amount of debt. Put him off.
Maybe next year.
He's working in Costa. But still writing when you can, aren't you? It's brilliant. Really is. Have you read it?
I'd love to.
But you haven't.
I could put it in front of someone.
You offered that before. I sent it to you. Didn't hear back.
Right, 12:30, time to go. Hannah, Gabriel.
Hi.
Hello.
I'll let you know where I end up.
You're welcome at ours to stay if you need. For any reason, do you have our new address, Paul? Can you
No,
give the
thank you.
I knew I would see you today, and I knew you'd ask. I couldn't bear it, so I deleted it on my computer. I took all the notes, everything, and I put it in a pile in the garden, and I burned it. Waste of time. I'll make coffee, then I'll manage people making coffee. That'll be it.
I really hope it works out for you.
I want you to know that I love you. Both of you. Always and without question. Wherever we are, whatever happens, I'll be with you.
Thanks, Paul.
All right then.
I want to stop this. I want to stay.
I'm sorry.
I'm not selling the house. I'm going to stay living here.
But Audrey, you can't.
Yes, just stop them completing. We'll pay a fine.
We'll pay a huge fine.
Come on, it's all arranged.
Doesn't matter. We'll unarrange it. We haven't sold it yet.
It'll ruin us to stay here. You know how much we've lost. You know about the business. And we can't afford any of the work that needs doing.
I don't care. I'm staying. If you love me, you'll go and call them now and stop them. I will do it myself if I have to. I am not moving. I will fix it all. Piece by piece, inch by inch of this garden, I will do it myself with my hands. I'll finish the job.
You're serious?
Yes, it's up to you. Go back to London or stay with me, but I'm going to be here. I'm always going to be here.
I'd better make some calls.
Oh, Mum, this is a mistake. He's right, you'll lose everything.
This is everything. Myself. My family. My past. My future. I don't want anything else but this piece of land. Will you make some tea?
A rose. They can't start till we've transplanted the rose. Do they know about the rose? Very rare, Mrs. Walters. Make them stop. There's a rose. It survived the war. We have to keep it.